Okay, we're going to go over the array list, and let's start by making a new package, okay? We're going to call it array lists practice, or let's just say array lists, okay? And in this one, let's make a new class, and let's call it array lists. Actually, technically it's list, but if we type in array list, it might confuse the computer. So array list practice is the name of the class, okay? Let's come here. So what is an array list? An array list is like an array. It's a data structure. These are coming from the Java collections framework. The Java collections framework are basically things that were built into Java that are exactly as the name refers to them as collections of data. Collections of data, okay? So yes. So before we would have simple int x equals 5 and then string name equals Ahmed, right? These are just simple one, singular variables. But when we made the array the first time, right? When let's say we made it a string integer, this is a traditional array, right? The one I'm creating right now on line 7 is not an array list. It's a traditional array. When we made this array, we would hold a bunch of integers, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So basically, and then if we did a string array, traditional string array, right? We can hold names, multiple names, John, Sally, okay, and then, sorry, Sally, and then Zach, right? Now, these both are data structures and they are collections because they're a collection of variables, they're a collection of data, right? So perfect. So now we're going to go over the array list. So I'm going to erase all this. This was just to illustrate that concept. But let's go over the array list, okay? So let's start. Array list, okay? Enter. See, it already imported. Matter of fact, let me erase this one. I'll do it the old school way. Array list, and you're making an object. You're making an object, okay? So in fact, before we even start making mistakes, let's make a main method, all right? And you're making an object when you make the array list itself. So array list, okay? And you have to use these alligator brackets like this, okay? To specify what you want in your array list. So let's say we want strings, right? So let's say string, okay? So array list string equals new, same thing again, array list, and it imported it already because I pressed enter. Okay, but array list equals, we gotta say string here as well. Okay, come here, semicolon it. All right, what is the mistake here? Oh, let me just, sorry, I forgot to name it. Sorry. Okay, let's just call it A for array list. Okay. And let's come here, and now here's the thing. We can dynamically change this one. We can add things on the fly. So we can do a dot add string e, okay? So let's say we want Sally, all right? And let's say we want Ahmed, and let's say we want Zach, okay? Now, before, remember to print an array, we had to use a for loop. Here, we do not have to use a for loop. We can just simply do sout a for the array list. And yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. So we can do other functions like a.get. It says, look, integer index. A.get integer index. So remember, these are still following an indexing system. This is at 0th index, this is at the first index, and this is at the second index, right? So we come here and we come to a.get and we will say 1, okay? And now in order to get this to really mean anything, you still have to do sout. So sout, yep. So let's put a parentheses and a semicolon, and let's print this one. Ahmed, yeah. And then also, there's other functions of an array list. So a dot, let's see, we already did add, we already did get, okay? You can actually add at a certain index a string element. So here you can say 0, and you can say, see, it's filling it in. You can say, we can say a new name. We can say Johnny, okay? Now, let's come out here and let me just comment these just so you see what happens here. So at the 0th index where Sally was, we added Johnny now. So everything's going to get pushed down. So now Johnny's at 0, Sally's at 1, Ahmed's at 2, and Zach's at 3. It's going to push everything down. So if we do, now if we print the array, like this, okay, let's see what happens. Look, Johnny replaced Sally and pushed everything down. Why? Because I added at the 0th index, right? And yeah, so Zach is at the 4th one now. So if you want to test it, we go to sout. Sorry, you have to actually, well, that's fine. We can just, you have to do sout, and we come here and we do a dot get 4. Okay, so let's see what happens. Out of bounds. So it's not at the 4th one. 0, 1, 2. It's at the 3rd one. Zach is at the 3rd index now. Here there's only 2 in 0, 1, and 2. It's at the 3rd index. So we can print it. There you go, Zach. So let's also, you can actually erase this one. And if you run it, you'll see the old array and the new array. Okay. So array list rather. So let's run this one. There you go. You see, this is the first array list, second array list. Now, I want to focus on up here. I'm sorry? Yes, as an array list. Yes, perfect. Yes, that's how it is. Exactly. Not an array, as an array list. The terminology is important for sure. And now we want to do one more thing. A dot. So here's the thing. All these methods are coming from this package, the Java utility package. When we made the array list, we had to import this one up here on line 4. So all these functions are coming from the collections framework. Like we get Selenium and Java, we get methods from Selenium framework, right? This is the built-in Java collections framework. So we can do a dot contains, okay? So what do we want? We want, let's see, Johnny, right? Okay. Let's come in here. Let's say sout. This is a Boolean expression, which means it's going to evaluate to true or false. This statement is saying, does array list A contain Johnny? Okay, that's what this is saying. It's going to say either true or false. All right. Matter of fact, we're going to do this twice. We're going to take this one, Control C it, and we're going to come up here before we added Johnny and see what happens. So let me come here, Control V it. So now you see we have 2 contains questions, okay? Let's Let's run this one and see what happens. Aha! So C, it contains Johnny after we added it? True. Does it contain Johnny before we added him? False. So contains checks. Now, you can do something else. You can say Michael. Okay? And what do you think it's going to say? False. There you go. So these are the methods of an array list and an array list itself. Okay?